over the years, and I'm very excited to have him on the show. I tried to start the show by myself, and I started it and then flipped my cup of Chick-fil-A lemonade in the floor. And then I couldn't figure out where I needed to be, and I couldn't touch my computer. I was covered in lemonade. So, I just had to cut it off and start over. Thank God Brandon came and helped me. And Luna came and drank the lemonade off the floor. So that solved that. But
All right
that's the
then.
kind of things, that's the way things start sometime. Hey, Christopher. Christopher Wayne Fisher is our moderator in our chat room. And so if you guys have any questions for us and we don't see it, please make sure you contact Christopher Wayne Fisher. Goes by Fish. Contact him in our chat room, or you can send him a message on Facebook. So without further ado, I'm going to bring Willie on, Shaman.
That's
Willie
my man.
Wind Talker Gibson. How you doing,
How
Willie?
are you?
Hi, brother.
How are you?
Good.
Good. You got a new haircut.
Yeah. Got kind of long. I cut it off for summer.
Yeah, well, we're right here at it. The weather's looking pretty. So, I saw you post some things with your book. Are you getting ready to do some more writing or release some new things, or what's going
I
on?
am. As you know, I've been writing for Underground Paranormal Magazine for like 3 years, and
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to take all those stories and put them in a book form and release it.
Right on.
I thought so. That's going to be amazing. I would love to see that happen. And I think it's going to be outstanding to have all of that in one book, because you talk about so many different topics over these 3 years.
Well, I've got a lot of stories about what's happened to me and different cases, and when I was a cop, and all that kind of stuff in there, and spirits and UFOs and aliens and demons, is all that's in there.
Wow, that's
Right
crazy.
on.
I
Sound
really
like
am
some good reading
excited.
material.
Yes, yes, yes. What topic would you like to start with, Blaine? For him,
Well,
because he
Willie,
can talk about so many things.
let's go to Willie's views on aliens. I love hearing Willie talk about aliens.
I do too. That was going to be my guess when it was my time. Um, can you can you give us some insight on how indigenous people became so connected with star people?
Well, I have to go by just different things that I've heard. Rumors and things about aliens coming down maybe 10,000 years ago and mated with Native Americans. And I think I tend to believe that because it seems like I never wanted to be messed up with aliens. I really didn't. And at 10 years old, and I'm playing out in the backyard, and here comes a UFO and picks me up and takes me off for 4 hours. I never remembered what they did until later on because the memories started coming back. But I think the Native American people have alien DNA. I really do.
I do so. I
They're constantly coming to visit us. If you go back and look at the cave drawings, you see UFOs on there from thousands of years ago. So that's
mhm.
what I believe. They just came here and mated with the Native Americans.
Yeah.
I,
And
I,
I go ahead, Lee. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say I have the same. I believe that is the same, because a
Mhm.
lot of our and I believe maybe even over in Asia, the same thing happened, because a lot of the similarities in spirituality exist between the two locations.
Well, Lee. We were landlocked. Thousands of years ago, and a lot of the Asians migrated over here with us. So that
Yeah,
with all that DNA going, we're kind of brothers and sisters.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's the way it's supposed to be, right there.
Yeah,
You know. Um, so your first experience with aliens was when you're 10.
yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot to unpack to be that
Well, not only
age.
that, Lee, that was the time that my, I guess you would say, gifts started to show up. I started to see and hear spirits. And after that experience, it's almost like they gave me a booster shot or something because everything got real clear to me then. A lot of things I started out hearing spirits and I kept it to myself because I didn't want my dad, don't thinking I was crazy or friends thinking I was crazy. So I kept it to myself. But after that experience, I could see spirits too as they talk to me. It's
Right.
almost
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they fine tune me.
Well, that's the thing, because whenever you and I talked the first time I was on your show, and you and I talked about how we were able to see and hear spirits, and they were the same. And then I told you about when I was a kid and the experience I had, and you said that was when I was chosen. I believe that was um, probably the first lesson we had. Gwen was just asking, "Hello, Gwen. Hello, um, Anthony. Hey, David. Okay, we have Resnick also, and there's a question there. But wasn't it whenever I explained to you what my first origin story was? You said that was your first contact when you were chosen.
Yeah,
I thought
that was
so.
it. And when it happened, I didn't know after that what happened. I mean, I knew I was gone for 4 hours. I went back into the house, and of course, my dad jumped all over me because he couldn't find me. They were getting ready to call the police, and
Mhm.
they went all through the neighborhood and things. And here I show up back in the backyard again,
Mm.
and what am I going to say? I don't know what happened. So I come up with a story. Hey, I was out walking and I lost track of time, and I finally come home. And to this day, I never did tell my dad what happened. But when I started seeing and hearing spirits, I had to go to him. I said, Dad, this is what's going on. He looked at me and he smiled and he said, it's okay, but just talk to me. Don't talk to anybody
Yeah.
else.
Mhm.
I don't know how you were brought up, Lee, but I was brought up to where Native Americans was really treated bad back in the
Well,
60s. I mean, they're not treated real well now, but back in
Yeah.
the 60s, I mean, I would walk down the street and get beat up and not knowing why. I thought, well, I was a fat kid and I had a brace on. I figured they were just picking on me.
mm-hmm.
But as it went on, I found out it was because of my skin.
Mm.
I was tanned and all this, and they was calling me breed and all this kind of stuff. And I went home and I asked my dad, well, hey, what's going on? Because I didn't know nothing about racism or anything like that. I
Yeah.
played with my friends at school, and I played with uh, Mexican kids and black kids and all this kind of stuff. We didn't care about racism,
No.
but you have to be taught that. You know, so my dad set me down. He told me how it was. Okay,
Mm.
he
That's what
told
I
me,
had to have too.
this is what's going on. It's just the way it is. So, and then on top of that, I started, hey, Dad, I'm seeing this and that, and I see this lady walk in the room that was been dead for 2 weeks. She held my hand while she died, and she's back in my room looking at me. What's going on? He told me what was going on and everything. Actually told me he saw her too. He said,
Mm.
"Don't tell your brothers and sisters. Don't get upset. You come to me if you see anything or if anything
Yeah.
bothers you." That's where I took my training and mediumship because then he really started doing stuff. Now I'm 10 years old. He takes me to funeral homes,
Mm-hmm.
right? Takes me up to people I don't even know. And he was telling me the body's a vessel and the spirit is gone. And as he's telling me that, I can see the person standing over in the corner looking at us. And he says, everything's okay until they're in sacred ground. They can move around. Okay. So he would take me to, the butcher dies. We go to the funeral home. I don't know if he's been told to go there spiritually, but he makes sure that I wasn't scared of the dead.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what got me started, and he just started training me a little bit here and there and how to protect myself and all that kind of stuff. So 10 years old is when it started. We're 50, almost 60 years down the road, and here we are.
Yep.
Between my dad and my grandmother, I had a little similar experience, but not much different. I mean, it had the same impact. I do have a question here. There has been an alien gene identified, only like 5 different cultures across the world. Native American is part of that group.
Hmm.
So that's from Resnick. Thank you, Rez. I'm assuming that person is indigenous as well.
He is.
Yep. And I think
Well,
that's awesome.
I think they're able to track our DNA too.
I
Of course,
agree.
I did have an implant up to about a year and a half ago, and it was at the base of my neck since I was 10 years old. And about 2 years ago, I started feeling something back there, and I noticed that the implant was growing. It went from like a pea size to an egg shape.
Oh,
Oh, goodness.
God.
So I ran and I went up to the ER, went in there, and the doctor looked at it. He said, "Oh, I'm going to lance this and see what's going on." So he cut this thing open, okay, and all sorts of stuff come out that he didn't understand what was going on. He said, "Mr. Gibson, I don't know what's going on. It looks like all kinds of organic stuff coming out. It kind of looks like wires, but it's not wires. It kind of looks like nerves and things like that." So he went on ahead and debrided it and everything, and sewed me up. And I got to thinking about it. If that implant had just, it must have done its job, and it just deteriorated after
Hmm.
60 years.
Wow.
But I think it's to where now they can track us just by our DNA, because
Oh, yeah.
I don't have as frequent visits as I used to. But I found out if I get in trouble, if I get sick or I get hurt, they show up. First I hear a hum, and then I know they're here. Just checking over me, because I had a case back in '99 where I was in really bad shape. I had diverticulitis. My
Mm.
intestines were swollen, and they rushed me to the hospital, and they had to do surgery on me. And as I was in the hospital, I was delirious and all that, because I almost died. I mean, they were concerned because my fever was up. They were trying to bring the fever down. They were packing me in ice and all that. And I could see time start to slow down, and I could see them come right up here. And this was at nighttime, and they came around my bed and was looking at me, and they were feeling around on me. They knew that I was going to be okay. That told me I was going to be okay. And then they left, and then time started back up fast again. It's almost like it was slowed down so much that nobody knew they were there but me.
Hmm.
And I think that I knew they were there because they wanted me to know they were there. So things like that happened to me.
Hmm. Now, Willie, do you think that the Anunnaki actually had something to do with our DNA change?
I don't know. I think that they were part of, I don't know, the program they had, because they just disappeared. It's
Yeah.
almost like they went through a portal and just left. So I think it was just they were just watching how things progressed here on Earth, and the civilization and all that kind of thing.
Interesting. Because I know all Native Americans have a belief in the sky gods or the sky
Yeah,
people. Um, and I do believe that we can communicate with them and they still communicate with us. Like you said, they're
yep.
following you around. And it just makes me wonder, it's like, okay, were you something very special to them that they have to keep an eye on you like a protector,
Well,
or
I
this is what you do?
about, I don't know, 90. I know it for a fact it was 99, and the word got out that I had some contact with aliens. Well, MUFON came to me, and they said, "Will you um, be a counselor to abductees and experiencers?" And I told them I would.
Yeah.
And people would come to me and show me things that I know they were telling me the truth.
Yeah.
Pictures of aliens and ships and all this kind of stuff. Then, I had an encounter group every month at the library, and I had 30, 40 people show up. I had a big room full of people doing lectures and things. And then one month, this guy comes in, He was in plain clothes, crew cut, high and tight. I knew right away it was military. And he comes and sits down and he's listening to what's going on there. And he raises his hand. And he says, "If I show you something, will you look at it?" I said, "Sure." Well, he pulled out a file out of a briefcase and he put it on my desk. And I looked at it. It had all kinds. It said top secret on it.
Ooh.
So I'm looking at it. It had UFOs on there and alien types and that stuff and writing. He said, "What do you think about this?" Well, I was looking at the writing. And Shaman, my wife, was stepping beside me, and I said, "Open up your pocketbook. I want to pull your paperwork out." She would doodle. She would get messages from spirit. She didn't know she was getting messages from up there.
Mm-hmm.
So it looked like hieroglyphics, and I showed it to this guy, and he matched it up with the paperwork. He said, "Where did
Wow.
you get this?" I said, "She drew it." "Well, how come she drew it?" She said, she said, it just come to me." And his face got really red, and he grabbed his paperwork back, put it in his briefcase, and he got up and left.
Mm.
After that happened, I started getting phone calls, hang-ups. Okay, I started strange vehicles started coming up and down my street, black SUVs.
Mm-hmm.
I would go one morning, Shaman and I. This was Sunday morning. We were going. We were going to a spiritualist church, and we were the only car on the highway. This black SUV pulls up beside of us and knocks me over into a ditch.
Oh goodness.
Yep, knocks me over into a ditch. And she said, "He tried to kill us." I said, "I think so." And then after that, I would go places and I would start seeing men in suits and glasses and black SUVs. I would go to Penny's. They would know where I was going before I got there. I
Oh
don't,
yeah.
and they would be sitting there. And I would go to another place and they would be sitting there. I used to be a cop and a PI myself, so I knew how to do some evading. So I would
Mm-hmm.
invade them. I mean, I would take them here
Wow.
and there and down this road, down this street, and I would lose them. By the time I got home, they were there at my house,
Oh
sitting
yeah.
up. So I had my share of men in black too,
Wow.
and they had we were after that I told Shaman, I said, "I'm going to get rid of the encounter group. I got to, this is getting too
Yeah.
dangerous." So I just told him it's enough, no more. And I
Yeah.
was out of it for about 30 years. Now I'm starting to get back into it because, hey, they don't care anymore. I mean, you turn on the TV, there's a flying saucer.
Yeah.
Here's an
Government's
alien
playing
that they
nothing now.
found. They don't bother me as much, if at all, anymore because everything's getting ready to have a big
Uh.
unveiling soon,
Yep.
and they're not going to be able to stop them.
Yeah. Becky Evans is saying, I feel they'll be coming back. And,
Yep.
Very
I,
soon.
I do too. I do too. I
Very
think they're going
soon.
to have to.
And
Mm-mm-mm.
I had a good friend that was going to testify in Washington, and she had 3 children taken from her.
Oh
After a
my
certain
goodness.
amount of time, they didn't know what happened to them, and she was going to go testify. Well, about a week before she testifies, lo and behold, there's a fire at her house, and she's killed.
Mm-hmm.
Suspicious, and I told you again, we're not gonna do anything right now. We're not gonna say anything. Later on, we will.
Wow.
That's so scary, and things are really changing now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Military officials have actually released information.
NASA just did too.
Yeah.
Well, I up until recently, I've kept this to myself, and they've came and got me many a time, and I've gotten memories come back and all this kind of stuff, and there is a base on the far side of the moon. There is a base on Mars.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember a memory where we were like in a tunnel, and there was trains underneath the ground, fast trains too, like
Yeah.
different stations all over the world. And I can remember a laboratory with people in them, in kind of like in cylinders, and kind of like green water, green liquid,
Mm-hmm.
and all that came back to me within the last 10 years. And it's almost as if they're unlocking certain things in my mind that I can start telling people about.
Yeah.
But they are based, NASA. We've got people that's been on the moon for 20, 30 years, 40 years,
Oh yeah.
and on the far side, inside the Mars, we've got bases there too. You
Hmm.
know,
Mhm.
so this going to the moon and landing on a far, they hear and well, Neil Armstrong has seen them. They were sitting there waiting on him when he
Yep.
got there, and they shut him up.
Yep.
So
There were three of them sitting on one of the hills, and he said, and he said something to Houston, and next thing you hear them say is, "Go to secure channel now,"
you,
and
you
it was
know,
cut off.
I've
Then
seen the
nothing else
films.
was said.
I've seen the
Yeah.
films from the moon that other countries is doing a flyby on the far side of the moon, and there's a factory sitting there, and
Yes.
it looks like there's whatever they're doing there. They're mining. And
Hmm.
we've had people there since the '60s.
Well,
Hmm.
you know that there's reports out now finally, because you can tell it just by looking at it. The moon is rusting. I don't know if you know that. It hasn't been but just a few days that it came out, and nobody knows why the thing is rusting because there's no water. But I mean, if you let me see if I can find, and I'll put the link in the chat for this. But according to NASA, the moon is rusting. The moon has hematite, a type of rust that usually requires oxygen and water, but the moon is airless and it lacks an atmosphere. So, how is this rusting? So, the impact of dust particles may allow iron to rust, but scientists believe that the Earth's magnetic tail is covering the moon's surface with electrons, which can cause strange things to happen, but the rust is more concentrated on the side of the moon that faces Earth. So everybody's like, okay, why is the moon turning red? Why does it look like there's rust on the moon? So NASA is planning to send dozens of instruments there next year, and they're saying that human missions are going up in 2024. These are the ones they're allowing us to know about.
Hmm.
But if you look, just put in there, moon is rusting, and the first thing that pops up is an article by through NASA, and then the Institute of Corrosion put out the moon is rusting. Surely NASA needs a corrosion specialist to help figure out what's going on the moon. So
I got a
we,
feeling if somebody goes up there, they need to stay in their own lane and not go any further, not try to land
yeah,
on the far side of the moon.
Well, the Chinese already have. I think they
No.
still got a station there.
Lord Almighty,
Yeah.
what kind of what are we?
And see, this is what
Wow.
makes me think about it. Okay, what turned Mars all red, like a rust color? But they did have water, and they suspect they still do. So I'm wondering if the moon at one time might have had a little bit of water in the core or in the mantle or something of it, but I don't know.
All right, so I'm trying to put this picture together for us. Um, I want you to see the latest picture. Someone actually sent this to me. Um, I'm very excited about it. Give me just a second to get my. I'm still learning about stuff. Let's see. I'll go to banners. No, that isn't it.
You go to present.
Yep, I got it for an overlay. Yep. So I just feel like we've got a lot of things that are about to come out that we need to be aware of, and I think we need to get closer together as a tribe. I think people need to learn how to be grateful for what they have. People need to remember how to work. My God, don't just show up and work. And because there's going to be a lot of things coming out, and if you're not smart now, you will be because things are ramping up with technology that you need to be, everybody needs to be aware. All right. Okay, here we go. I got it. Okay, here's the UFO. Can you guys see that?
Yeah.
It looks like a pan flying through the air. It's
It
flat
looks
around
like
the edges.
it looks like a pie pan, or it looks like one of them straw hats that used to wear back in the 20s and 30s.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
Let me put that back out there. So that was one that the USA Today, US News and World Report put out with their article that said the US is about to change the way the world thinks about UFOs. So I thought that was very interesting.
Hmm.
I'll get us some more.
Well, I think now the government's trying to realize this that people aren't going to panic because most of us are thinking, okay, logically, we cannot be the only planet in this whole vast universe that has any life on it. If you think that there's just the numbers are impossible for that
The
not.
vanity.
But yeah,
Yes. Tell it, Blaine.
I mean, I'm
The the latest here is that whistleblowers, they're saying that whistleblowers are creating a UFO security threat. Now, what do you guys feel about that?
oh, there's been hackers that's been in the NASA's and government systems for years. I know one of them was it I can't remember his name, Julian Assange or something like that. And he
Uh-huh.
went there specifically to see if there was stuff hidden on UFOs. That's the only reason he hacked into government computers was to find out for real what was going on with the UFOs.
Here's another one. Um I wanted you to see this headline. Whistleblowers. Okay, this is US News and World Report. Whistleblowers, UFOs a security threat in a highly anticipated hearing before Congress, and this was July of last year.
Mm-hmm.
Several former top military intelligence officials detailed they believe there are practical dangers to U.S. security from UFOs, or what they call UAPs. Just
Mm-hmm. And you know, a lot of that they showed, they redacted a lot of what they could say, and they took them back in what they call a skiff, a secure area that can't be eavesdrop on or nothing like that, and got actually further details on it. We only got to hear like the tip of the iceberg. I would have loved to have been behind those closed walls and see what they said in the skiffs.
yeah. The In October of last year, the Pentagon reported more than 270 UFO sightings.
Mm-hmm.
It just keeps getting crazier.
Well, they
What
keep.
did you think about the Mexican Congress? Um, in having those little bitty non-human beings from their museum.
Oh, yeah, pretty
Did
interesting on that. The little ones. I think it was like Peru, maybe that did those.
Yes.
But they had the little mummies of the little things with the big heads and large eye
Yeah.
sockets.
Here, let me see if I can. I'm going to find one real quick because I want everybody to look at it. Willie, are you aware of this?
Yeah, I saw them.
The extraterrestrials.
They, yeah, they kind of look like, I hate to say thrown together,
Yeah,
They
but I've
do.
seen, those types of aliens, and well, they come in different sizes. They could be mummies.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
interesting.
I can't spell today. Okay, here we go. The extraterrestrial returns to Mexico's Congress as journalist presses case for non-human beings. Yeah, that was a big thing. That was a
Yeah.
big thing. Okay, I've got some pictures of it, and these are super close. All right. Um, the they look so white. I mean, I'm not sure. I'm on the fence about it. Let's put it out there and see if anybody watching has any comments because this is pretty unique.
I mean, Lee, why would they hide them? They hid skeletons of giants for years.
I know. Boom. There you go.
Well, I think they're all white because they're bleached out from being in the sun forever up there.
Hmm. Or that's some preservative from, so many years ago. But you see the sockets, but they are small. These are small, but their head's out of proportion to the
Oh
body.
yeah.
They're big, like what you said, I think. But let me see if I can find any more. Willie, do you feel like these are real or can you tell?
Well, the ones that I've seen for real, I've seen these things in my bedroom, and they look, they're about 3 or 4 feet tall, the big heads and the eyes and everything. So I've never seen anything that small.
Yeah, I was pretty shocked that they were, what in the world? Wait a minute. This one says alien bodies in Mexico. Um, Alien bodies in Mexico contain 30% of human DNA.
So probably a hybrid, maybe
Maybe.
a stillborn hybrid, maybe.
Yeah, that's making sense to me. Sure does. Ugh. It's creepy.
Yeah, the ones on the right are even more creepy. They look like
Yeah.
ET for real.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just thought I would show those real quick. I'm trying to find out the latest UFO sighting. Usually I'm able to go on Lifetime and look at that. Probably need to just go on to MUFON website. I know that the Mercury and Gemini astronaut, Colonel Gordon Cooper, he said that a saucer flew right over him and
Yeah.
put down 3 landing gears and landed on the dry lake bed.
Hmm.
And that the cameraman went out and took footage of it, and it lifted off and flew away real fast. And he said
Gordon
they got.
Gordon Cooper, this is a true story.
Hmm.
When I was in grade school, I was really into NASA and rockets and all that kind of thing. And one day, the teacher says, "Well, why don't we send some letters to the astronauts and maybe they'll write you back?" So they picked Gordon Cooper out for me. Okay,
Right on, Gordon.
so I
Okay.
wrote Gordon Cooper and told him I watched him on TV and all this kind of stuff. Well, you don't figure that they're going to write you back. Gordon Cooper wrote me back,
Yeah.
sent it to the school, and sent it to the principal. And he came in. I'm in class, and the principal pulls me up in front of the class. He says, "I want to read something to you." And he read me a really nice letter from NASA, and Gordon Cooper wrote it to Willie Gibson.
Right on.
We become
Oh,
we become pen pals.
That's
Okay, when I
bad.
was in
That's
grade
cool.
school, he sent me uh, models of Apollo mooncraft, all that kind of stuff. Stuff that
Oh,
they didn't
really? How
they didn't
cool.
even
oh, I'm so jealous.
they didn't even sell that in the stores.
Oh,
This was something from NASA, and
oh
I would
wow.
get packages from Gordon Cooper from NASA, and they would like let me put them together in class, and they would sit in the classroom, and every time he would write me a letter, he'd write me like once a month, and
Right
how you doing,
on.
all this, and he would send me spaceships and all kinds of stuff.
Oh,
Yep. Hmm.
Oh, man.
I am so jealous, Willie, because I was
Yeah,
huge.
I
'Cause
didn't think I seen him, come
yeah.
down in the capsule and all that kind of stuff and do, and then the teacher said, "Well, why don't we write some astronauts?" Well, I was the only one that ever got a reply. I do
Wow.
not know why this man. He must have felt something from me or something, because I would handwrite the letter, and he would read it. Evidently, he had something about him when he touched that letter. He knew that
Yeah.
something was going on with me, and he wanted to keep in touch with me.
You know why? He's felt that energy before, and he knew. He
Yeah.
exactly
I'm
knew.
sure of it.
And Gordo was one of the best ones, man. Uh, and some of the stuff that Gordo did, people don't even know that he mapped the whole Bahamas of areas where ships had crashed from space. He hand marked every one of them. And I forget the famous treasure hunter was friends with Gordo. And he gave Gordo gave him his maps from space and said, okay, go, here's, you got a shipwreck here, you got a shipwreck here. And about 6 out of 7 that Gordo had sent him, he found huge sums of booty, a treasure everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah. And his son now is not Gordo's, but the 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 treasure hunter, his son now does it. And he's found several ships off stuff that Gordo has given his dad. And Gordo was one of the best astronauts ever. Him and Armstrong. I wish they'd let Armstrong talk a lot more for what he saw that first time on the moon. That would be very interesting.
I agree. I know that MUFON did a big article about the ghost rocket retrieval attempt by Arctic seals, and these were seen in 1947, and the Arctic seals were trying to retrieve these objects. The ghost rockets were seen by over 2,000 people, and the reports, that's how many reports they got in, so that there's a whole lot more that saw them. And they crashed into lakes in Norway and Sweden, and they were said to have high rate of speed and the height, course changing, and then crashing into a body of water and that kind of thing. And they're aware of at least 16 such reports between 1946 and 2012 in Finland, Norway, and Sweden. And they're saying that this egg-like object with a jet engine like noise was in the sky flying over the lake, and it made an abrupt 180-degree turn and landed with a splash on the surface and then sunk. And some of those lakes there are almost like bottomless,
Yeah.
just crazy. So, everybody's talking about it now because last year a team headed by Rune Rostad, Rostad, he decided he wanted to retrieve it with modern technology. And he was even using like side scan sonar. And they were able to get a 3D picture from their sonar data. And they're trying to get down there, but it's in ice and mud and things like that. So they're trying to figure this out. Now, how crazy would it be to retrieve that?
Probably about as crazy as whatever they've got in the Antarctic that they don't let people fly over. I think
Yeah.
they got a whole colonization or several colonizations under the ice in Antarctica. I really do.
They do. Yep.
And who knows? They could be one of those species that can go dormant for thousands of years and then come back when they need to come back. I don't know. Just stuff that
So,
makes you
yeah, absolutely. Here's another headline. MUFON Network. This is in their news section. Anybody can see it. But January 7th of this year, there was a very strange week with ufology. Okay. On the 12th, there was a closed door congressional hearing with Intelligence Inspector General Thomas Moheim, Monheim, with members of the House Oversight and Advisory Committee. And it was like 90 minutes long. And they were using, of course, the Pentagon secrecy veil. And it was about UAPs or UFOs. And they were saying that there was a jellyfish looking UFO that was seen over Iraq. And there's a 17-minute which I heard it was 30 minutes or 17. This is saying 17-minute or possible 30-minute video of a jellyfish UFO seen over a joint American Iraqi Air Force allegedly near the base called Lake Hibernia. Hibernia, according to reports, sometime during the October of 2018. This has only been released to the public in little different snippets. And there's a whole bunch of issues concerning this jellyfish UFO. And some people are saying that it's not alien, that it's ours.
And
Now,
that's possible too.
it's possible. Um, a lot of people are saying, there's no way we could do that. We don't have that kind of technology, but do we?
I
Um,
disagree. I think we do, but
yeah, the snippets are raw videos in January of this year. And the USA Today article has a filmmaker named Jeremy Corbell, excuse me, saying it's not raw, it's anything but raw. And so there's people like him that are professionals that do this for a living, and they're like, no. So apparently, there's snippets that are not actual video footage, but filmed by the actual American military. But those actually belong to the government. So that's something that everybody's looking into. What is this? What does it mean? And this is a huge article. There's no way I could cover all of this, but wow. So the cover up's real, y'all. It's crazy.
oh yeah, and I believe, like Willie said, this is about to be something big, huge, and the ones that don't believe will be believers within seconds.
Wow. Yep. Christopher, do you have any questions for Willie? You said that you did. I'm going to add you. There you go, Christopher.
Hello. I've always wondered, besides civilizations in the polar regions, I've wondered if there's any that lived underwater or still do.
I believe that Russia, about 7 years ago, released some footage. They actually told Obama. So how long ago was that? Anyway, you get the idea. They said, look, if you don't tell people about what you know about aliens, we will. And they released some footage of unidentified aircraft in the oceans. Those are called USOs.
Yeah, United States government's actually the one that the famous TikTok video was a USO. They said it went in the water with no splashes, came back out of the water with no splashes.
Wow. Let me see if I can find a picture of a USO. See if I can find some cool ones.
But yeah, aircraft that can switch from undersea propulsion to air.
So, Willie, what do you feel was one of the first? You were going through some questions with me about being shaman because you wanted to know how much I had been trained. So, do you remember what some of our first training moments were? Because we sped through a lot of it because I'd already had it.
Well, I asked you about missing time and
Yes,
if you
yes.
have anything on your body that scrapes or anything like that, or you have any bruises or um, I actually feel that we not only are chosen like shamans, but we were actually chosen by extraterrestrials too, because we can communicate and we're not shook up about anything we find out. Because
Mm-hmm.
spirits don't bother me. You know,
No.
Nope.
basically, anything in the supernatural world I've dealt with, from
Yeah.
aliens to demons, and you know nothing shocks me anymore. And I think that's one reason why they picked us, because of our
Yeah.
DNA, and that we're not going to run off pulling our hair out if we run into something weird. We just say, okay, I got
Well,
to
if
go
I
Oh,
did,
shopping.
okay.
yeah, if I
Let's
did,
go
Willie,
have
I wouldn't have all
I'll
this
pick
left
you
now,
up
would I?
home. And I looked up and said, okay, I got you. Come back tonight and we'll talk. And then I'll go
Yeah,
shopping.
Mhm. Mhm.
I like
It's
that.
just an
Willie's like,
everyday
hey,
thing
hey,
for us.
I still got all my hair and then some, so it must be since
Yes,
that's
you
what we were
do.
doing that. It's
Shimon
like,
and I was driving down the highway one time, and it must have been a mothership. It was huge. It just uncloaked right in front of us and recloaked like within a matter of 3 or 4 seconds.
yeah,
And I looked at Shimon and said, "Did you see that?" And she said, "Yeah." I said, "They're letting us know they're there, but they're
yep,
cloaked." But
Mm-hmm.
this
yep.
thing was huge.
And you know,
Something like even
that's
something like you would see in Independence Day huge.
that's pretty
That's
Oh
cool
how
my
though,
big they.
because
gosh.
Yeah,
they
because they're
feel
cloaked and they're around us, but you can't find them, you can't see them, you can't
yeah.
detect them.
I think they let us see them when they want us to see them. Like,
Yes.
except for people like us, they show up and give you a few seconds, go, oh, okay, I'm here. And bam, we're gone again, but we're still here.
I had I had a small circle that met at my house once every 2 weeks, and we would do spiritual stuff and meditations and stuff. And one night we got to talking about UFOs, and I told my story, and they looked at me. These people fooled me because I thought they were more spiritual than this, and they kind of got to snicker and everything. I said, "What's the matter?" She said, "Yeah, you can talk to aliens, and you were abducted and all." And that part we left it right at the edge of town where you can look up and see the stars and things. I said, "Come outside." And they walked outside, and they said, "What are we going to do?" I said, "Would you like to see a UFO?" "Oh, sure." So I just took some deep breaths, and I said, "Show them." And within a few seconds, you could see these little things start zooming by, crisscrossing up and down, back and
Ah,
forth.
that's awesome.
And they were standing there looking up, and they looked at each other, and I swear they got in their cars and left me
Oh, you
standing
saw,
in the front yard by myself.
Oh wow!
and see me,
And I gave it to them.
I would have like tipped, give him the bow down, said, dude, thank you, that was awesome. I
Like
probably
I
have.
said, like I said, they're watching me, and
Yeah.
if I need them, they know
Well,
know
Willie,
if I'm
I
sick
think
or
the
am I
thing with
hurt.
me is like I feel them, and I know there's more to me than this shell. And sometimes I don't feel like I belong here.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Yeah.
And there was a group called Skywatch with
Oh, I
Mama,
remember that.
and they said, "Well, will you? We've got a landing site built out in the country. We want you to come out. And we want you to bring a UFO down so we can get a picture of it." And I said, "I'm not going to do that." And
Yeah.
I had all kinds of nuts like that. I had them come on my front step and beg me to bring a UFO down. I'm not going to do that. That's just like people's asked me to go out in the woods and bring and conjure up Sasquatch. I'm not
No,
going to do that.
no,
They're minding their
because
business. I'm going to mind
yep.
my business, and I'm not going to do anything for you to hurt anything like that.
Well,
You
you know
know,
what the new
Amen.
Willie, you know what the new thing is now? It's called AE5, a CE5, Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, where they have groups and they have communications with the spaceships, and they're very friendly communications. There's nobody trying to, like you said, bring them to land on a certain spot. They
yeah.
want to react. They react back. It was pretty cool to see because I've watched a lot of video of it, and I have a good friend of mine who's in it. It got me into it, so pretty interesting stuff.
I think I'd like to see that myself, Blaine. We're going to have to see. I know that Dr. Dan Greer has got
Yeah,
a
that's
new
the one.
movie out, and
That's the
it
one who
is
started that. Dr. Dan Greer is the one.
fantastic.
Yep, that
Yes.
C5 is his.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm
I met
loading
Stanton
something I
Friedman
want you
back
guys
in.
to see.
Okay,
Go ahead, hun.
I met Stanton Friedman back in '99. I went to a UFO conference here in Bowling Green. Shaman was with me, and he was lecturing. And after the lecture, I walked up to him, introduced ourselves, and I told him my story. he looked at both of us and he said, Willie, you and Shaman wouldn't just happen to meet each other. You were brought together because Shaman has had experiences as a child too. He says,
Hmm.
you were brought here for a reason, and just he said, don't worry about it. They'll make things clear to you as you go along. Really nice man. And he
Hmm.
didn't ridicule me or anything. He knew
Thank
right away
God.
when I was talking to him. I knew I was talking about.
Well,
I
I
was
loved
sorry to
about
hear he
him.
died.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
what I loved about the man, he was actually had several PhDs, and he knew his stuff. He put his career on the line to prove this stuff was real, and he had that much confidence and faith of his scientific ability to say, yeah, this, and this is real. Okay, this is not real. But yeah, he could have been criticized, and he probably was. But yeah, he took a stand on it. And I'm seeing now a lot more PhDs and scientists now are coming over to our side.
yeah.
I've been seeing that too.
Well, I want you guys to see something while we're talking about that. I'm trying to get some really cool stuff. Okay, so, okay, we all know about crop circles, right? Okay,
Hmm.
we've
Yeah.
all seen them, and they're usually pretty geometric and that kind of thing. And some people like, oh yeah, they're real. Others are like, I think they are doing it with a board and some, string, and they're stepping on it or something, and crushing it. And they have a whole bunch of people together doing it. And there's been things that have been said, people that have come out and said, yeah, we made these, and this is how we did it, and da da da. Okay, well, how can that be one? That's geometric, yes, but part
I
of it
mean,
is not.
that's some sacred geometry there.
Yep. So, to me, that's definitely not made by. I can't see a bunch of people in a board and a string so that it hides their footsteps and they're squishing
Yeah,
it,
that's what
because
I'm
you would
about.
have to have an aerial view to make those little tendrils that are coming down.
Yeah, it's way too complicated for humans.
Yeah, and I mean, there's no
They'd
way
have
they
to
could eyeball that. They'd have to have an
no,
aerial view.
they'd have to line that up, measure it out to exact specifications, and something that big. Unless they've got like 1,000 people coming out there to do it, I don't see how like maybe 10, 15 people could do something that
Well,
extreme.
here's the thing. How did 1,000 people get out there without tearing up the rest of the?
Yeah,
Okay,
no.
now here's the next one. This one will really make you think.
Oh,
That is a crop circle underwater in the bottom of the ocean.
okay, that's pretty badass.
I thought you might like that. I have never seen one underwater, but the link is there. Um, I'll leave this up a little longer, so if you guys want to, write that down. But this is from Discovery. Okay, and they're going to, you know, document things and have it out there. So if you look for to discovery, deep cuts, if a UFO didn't create this underwater crop circle, what did? Okay.
I don't know.
And what they're saying is that the center of that is compacted, and part of it is glass, which means heat had to be involved, and part of
Hmm.
it's burnt.
Yeah,
Wow, that
So
can't be done.
I
Like,
know, isn't that crazy? Let me go back to the first one. That's pretty crazy. And the fact that they're still even though they are that, it looks like freehand. If it was artwork, it looks like it's, part of it's geometric, parts freehand. Well, how could they do that? If
leave
they,
it.
yeah, they'd have to be able to see from a aerial view, and then this one's underwater.
The first one almost looks like a jellyfish.
I thought so too. I thought so too. But there's more. I mean, I can let
Oh
me
yeah,
try to get some more downloaded for
but
us. I
that's the
think you'll
first one
like it.
I've ever seen of the sea, and I'm trying to think what animal could have maybe done that,
I've been trying to find
but
it.
not to make the center part hard as glass. That's I don't know any animal that can turn sand into glass.
Yeah. They said it was glass-like. There's plenty of those if you want to look. Just look it up. Crop circle image underwater. and they're trying to say it's these little fish that almost look like a chicken, puffer fish, and they're saying they might be carving those out. I don't I'm not feeling it. I'm not
No, I'm
feeling
looking
it.
to where is there excess sand that's being kicked out, because it would be spread. If they were doing this, it wouldn't be nice symmetrical lines. It would be scattered all over the place.
Well, here, let me show you.
Interesting.
This means that they're going to have to be synchronized swimmers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me show you a synchronized swimming fish. I didn't get the words, but you get the idea. I'm going to show you.
Before I believe that, Lee, I would believe that it was a UFO landing site,
I do
and
too.
all that heat could have left that like that.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out why it's so compact,
Yeah,
in the center there, and it got like
it would
glass-like
explain the glass
substance.
and the heat.
Yeah, burnt sand, basically. Okay, I'm going to scroll down. I'm doing this on the fly, so y'all be patient with me. All right, so they're saying that this little critter right here, it's a little bitty fish about the size of your two fingers,
Mm-hmm.
your index finger and your birdie finger, is doing this puffer fish or whatever. Now, they're tiny.
Okay.
They're tiny. How in the bloody devil are all of them going to get synchronized swimming?
No. But
No.
look behind that fish and see how disarrayed it is. And then you go back to the other figure, look behind it. See all the dust, I mean the sand and
Yeah.
stuff that's been kicked up?
Yeah,
Okay, that's what I was talking about. If it was a puffer fish that did that, there would be sand disturbed all around that thing.
right. You're right. You're right. They're saying that it's mating rituals of these things. Y'all, that's
Uh
frustrating.
what?
Yeah, they're saying puffer fish masterpieces, and they're finding these circles.
Okay.
I'm just not with it.
No,
That's
I'm
not
not either.
me.
Another thing too, if you look at the original photograph, the way the lines are drawn in the center, it would be more flailed out if it was a fish, because of the fins not all being exactly the same size. And if they're cut into that sand, it would be not even
Wow.
or symmetric. That picture is symmetric.
All right, I've got another one. This one came from Japan, and I'm in a diving. Uh, I'm on a diving site now, and Strange Things Diving. I thought I would throw this out there. I know we've got plenty other things to talk about. Well, we've gone down a rabbit trail, and I'm not willing to give it up.
No, this is pretty interesting.
I thought so too. Okay, so let me get my little blower fish out while that's loading. Okay, this little guy here, and I guess a gazillion of them decided they think they created. No, I'm sorry. Look
No,
how deep those
no,
divots are, and that's
no,
in Japan, in Kagoshima, Kagoshima, Kogoshima. There it is, Kogoshima. No, I'm not believing it. Mm-mm.
no.
Let me see if I can find like a whole swarm of those little rascals. You have to admit they're cute fish, but so you have visits still, Willie. You've got visitors still coming
Uh,
to you.
Not as much as I used to because I think I'm getting up there in age now, and my youth is gone. So basically, I'm probably along the lines of elder, and they'll come every now and then, let me know they're here, or I can hear humming in my ears that lets me know the ship's up there. But they're around. I mean, I can still bring them in if I
That
Yeah,
have
happens to
to.
me, the humming in my
yeah.
ears.
Yeah,
It was so loud the other night, I was like, "Oh my gosh, what is going on?"
that's it.
Okay, well, every
And,
time I talk to you, I learn something
well,
new.
and two, it's that home we're getting to. Since we are attuned to spirits as well, it could because spirits are energy, the aliens are energy. So we're picking up that energy signal because I get the same thing. It's
Yeah,
that
I get
low,
the
it's that
same
low, like
type of
bell ringing.
sound if
Yeah.
I go into a really bad haunting when I used to.
Uh-huh.
I,
Yep.
I know that they're
I,
around.
I think that's their way of letting us know, hey, I'm here. Say
You know,
hello
like
to us.
you've done a lot of investigation work, Lee, and you know that it's not like TV. You walk in, hey, as soon
Oh,
as you walk in, stuff starts going on. Sometimes you're there hours, or sometimes you don't get anything.
yeah.
And
Yep.
people
That's so
people
frustrating.
they used
Oh,
to come
Lord.
get me. Different paranormal groups used to come and get me on their investigations, but they wouldn't let me know where we were going,
I
and they
love
had
it.
already
I
done
wonder why.
investigation. So they would take me to a house and I'd walk through it and I'd tell them what was going on. And then they would play me the evidence back before I even knew what it was. They
Hmm.
Oh
just
my
wanted
gosh.
me to let them know they really got what they got. And there's
Hmm.
some houses that I went into, they wanted me to certify it as haunted. And I've gone through everything there and the closets and everything, and I didn't feel anything. Now, if you just, we seeing and feeling this and da da da, sometimes ghosts hide from you, but I
Sure.
know when something's fake, and
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
not certify anything haunted so you can run tours out of it and make money and use my
Yeah.
name. I won't do it. That's why,
Yeah.
I've turned down television series. Bishop Long and I turned down a Discovery series years ago, and they just didn't want to work with us. They wanted us to come to Hollywood and film where they wanted to go. And we told them we had
Hmm.
plenty of places here in Kentucky that we could take them
Yep.
and show them. They didn't want to do that. They
Of course
wanted to
not.
set up to where if we didn't get anything, they would produce it. I ain't going to do that. And
Willie,
I
I'm
tell you
with you on
what,
that one.
the money was good. I mean, they offered, and we said no, we're not going to do it because Bishop Long had to run his ministry, and and Shaman wasn't well enough to do that kind of stuff anymore. And I'm not going to do it. If you want to do it local, where I can be back home at nighttime, or I can spend the night and not worry about Shaman, that'd be
Yeah.
one thing. But they wanted us to start making up stuff,
No, see,
and
that's where I have a
constantly
problem,
after.
Willie. I'm like you. I've turned down two TV shows, and I said, "This
Yep.
is what I want. I want creative control. I will not lie, and you will not give me words to say. Uh, I want executive producer status, and I want back end. Whoa, 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 whoa! What do you mean back end? They didn't know I knew about back end. It's like, okay, when you sell my stuff and put my image and stuff overseas, and you're making money off of it, I want my cut. And I'll be damned if I'm going to ruin my integrity for you to put words in my mouth and say this piece of dust is a ghost.
Amen.
That's not going to happen.
I was
So,
doing FaceTime with this producer for I won't tell you what network, but and Bishop Long had already done his, and they were saying, how I talked and how I looked and all that, and they liked what they saw. But then they will say, well, were you going to do this and this and this? I said, no, I'm not.
mm-mm.
I had $2 in my pocket. Okay, to have your own show and everything. They offered me several thousands of dollars a week to
Yeah.
do this show, and I turned it down.
Wow.
No,
But
I'm the
it's
real
another,
deal. I have
thank
a
you.
responsibility, and I'm
And
not going to trash
you
my.
have reputation or
Yeah,
your honor or your dignity for that.
I get several emails a day from people that's like different paranormal groups or another shaman. Can you help me with this case? What do you think? And I
Hmm.
give them my opinion and walk them through it. That means a lot to me, other than
Yes.
make up something.
Thank you. I'm with you on that one. I would
A
rather
lot of
help
people,
somebody. And
a
us
lot of
three
people
do that
want to
quite a
go
lot.
after. A lot of people want to go after skinwalkers. A
Yeah.
lot of people want to go after Wendigos. I said, you
Why?
go the other way. You don't tackle
Well,
something like that.
for
Shamans
one,
don't tackle something like this
no.
unless they have to. I said, you're looking to get killed and you're looking to get your family killed because these things
Yes.
will follow you.
Oh God,
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Well, they
Thank you.
can.
yeah. And well, we're going to go. We're going to go fight this thing. We're going to run it out off this property. I said, no, you're not. you don't do that to a skinwalker, and you don't do that to a
You're just gonna
Wendigo.
piss it off.
Once they
Well,
mark their spot, you do not want to go against them because you'll be dead before you hit the ground.
yep.
And
Wow.
oh, you're just a coward. No, I'm not.
No, I'm practical and I'm logical. I say, for one, you don't mess with something like that. That has a special power that you can't defend as a human being. If me or you or Lee had to fight them, it would be with our spirit guys. It wouldn't be us physically fighting the thing.
We couldn't.
Shit, no. I'd
What's
be like, nope, back up.
Lee knows this, and I told her when the case come in. I said, I got a skinwalker case come in, and I told the person to back out. Don't do this. And do you
Yes.
know how to kill one? Yes, I do, but I don't want to unless I have to. You know.
Yeah.
And they said, well, and do you know? And I said, these things will know if you contacted me. Okay,
Yeah, they will.
get this. The 2 hours after I got that call, the phone rings. Okay, I knew what area that this thing was in. I get a phone call from that area with nobody on the other end. Telling me, back off, buddy. Don't
Yep.
come here, or don't tell
This is
nobody
your,
how to do anything.
this is the only warning you're getting. Click. That's yep.
All right. Well, let me show you what Wisconsin's looking at. So you see those three.
Mm-hmm.
The lightning in the back apparently is what started it, and these three UFOs, or what appears to be UFOs, the lights coming through the clouds, they were cloaked by the clouds, but something happened between the UFOs, the clouds, and the lightning, and then they were seen.
Back when I had my radio show, Lee, I had, we talked. We had a UFO show that night,
Right, I
and
remember.
I told, we were talking about different ships and everything, and triangles and all that kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
Show was over. I was thirsty, and I went to in the kitchen, and I was getting a glass of water, and I was looking out the window. I seen this thing coming from a distance. I
Oh
go out in my
God.
backyard and I watch it. It was a triangle. Okay, had two jet fighters on each side of it, and it flew right over the house. Like, hey, we caught your show.
Oh
A warning.
Lord.
Yeah, stuff like that happens to me.
I believe it.
I've seen the triangle, the three lights. It looks that one in the nose and two on each side, and it had a light in the center that was red, and it was a smaller one. It wasn't one of the big ones, but I had two jet fighters on each side of it, and they flew over the house. Like, I mean, they made sure that I saw them.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Whew.
I get
Wow.
warnings like that, but that was a while back. That was like 10, 12 years ago. But now, hey, there's a triangle flying over, big deal.
Yeah.
Back then, keep your mouth shut,
I am trying to find a picture of supposed skinwalker. Can you please explain to people, what is a skinwalker? What is this thing doing?
It's a witch, and it's able to change shapes. It could be anything. It can eat flesh. It's been known to
Wow.
eat people. Yes, it's really evil. I mean, I've only had a close call with one for real 20, 30 years ago, and it was good enough for me to give a warning to it. I will back off if you do, one type of thing, because I know how to destroy these things, but I don't want to unless I have to, because if you do, you're in for a fight. You're going to get hurt, and this thing is so powerful. It could hurt a friend, a relative. I mean, it could be in Kentucky one day, 1 minute, and where you live at the next, Lee. I mean,
Yeah.
That's how fast they are. They're just teleport wherever you're at, and they're able to mess up your, electronics. Like I said, that when I got that call, I knew what it was, and I backed off of it. When I backed off of it, um, everything was okay. But I learned from the person that was working the case. I told them to back off too. I told them how to put protections up from this thing in case it came after them. And the family that was being plagued come up missing. They haven't found them yet.
Oh,
They
jeez.
don't know. They don't
Wow.
know. I don't know if
Well,
there's even an investigation. They just left, which was a good idea if they just decided to leave. Because I told them, if you can leave, leave. Don't worry about anything. Leave the property. Take your clothes and go. Because I'm telling you, this thing it took up a house. It moved into the area. It would stay in our barn. You could smell the thing that was there. It says, I claim this, you leave. If
Mm.
you got someplace to go, go. You might say that's the coward's way out. No, that's the best way out.
that's a smart way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the best way. You don't want to put your family in danger.
No.
Right. One of the things that I've recently discovered about skinwalkers. This is just from reading. It's not from me being in the field, so I'm repeating what I've read. But skinwalkers have a collective conscience where if one is threatened or something over here, in the south, they could communicate with someone or something in the
Mhm.
west that quickly.
They can.
Um, and also, there was another thing that Jack Carey actually brought up to me. That oops, sorry, I left that up way too long. There was such a thing as the hitchhiker effect. And the hitchhiker effect is that if you have a UFO contact you, you may have a Sasquatch incident, or you might have a paranormal experience. And, they usually are on top of each other.
I know that.
This is the sighting taking off, UFO sightings taking off, and you can see where they were and then where we are right now. There's a serious drop, and it's headed back up again. So that spike is headed right up, and I believe we're going to see more as well. Um,
Yeah.
hold on, let me see if I can get this connected. All right, so CNN. Let's see if I can find this. This is on News 9 in Amarillo, Texas. And in Amarillo, Texas, there's a zoo, and of course they have lots and lots of security around the zoo, making sure that it's, everything's safe for people living around it, but also to make sure nobody's getting in harming the animals. And this is what they saw.
Ooh.
Yep, and they're looking for help from the public, saying, "What in the heck is this?" The city of Amarillo put this out on their Twitter page. They contacted CNN, which got it out. Let's see, on 9.com news. Is that what that thing says? Let me get up
Mhm.
here. So, a plea for help after mysterious figure captured on camera at South Carolina, United States Zoo. A black and white image depicts a figure that's standing up on what appears to be two legs and has what looks like two arms and a head that resembles a dog. The photo was taken by a camera stationed just outside the Amarillo Zoo in North Texas about 1:25 a.m. on May the 21st. This was last year. And
I know what that
so
is.
what is it?
It's a skinwalker.
Yeah. You can actually see the tail on the thing. Now, Willie,
Yeah.
one thing I want to ask is like upset Native American spirits, you can offer them an appeasement and it helps. Can you offer any appeasement up to a skinwalker so
No,
they're just nothing.
they're pure evil. You can't do it.
Okay.
The one that I talked to in the woods. I mean, I knew it was there, and I told it, I will leave if you leave. I don't want to fight you, but I will if I have to. And if you
Yeah,
know what I am, and I know what you are, you know I have the ability to destroy
yeah.
you. It left, and I did too.
I
Yeah,
don't. Hey,
good.
I
I'll
ain't
take
gonna
that
be.
win. I will
I
take
ain't
that
gonna.
win every time, Willie.
Yeah.
Hey, I
Uh,
walked away clean. It walks away clean. No sweat off my back. I'm good.
as long as that didn't attack, then that's fine. You go
Yep.
do your thing someplace else, and I'll do my thing because I left. When I
Yep.
knew it was out in the area, I left. So I didn't know where it went to. I didn't care what what uh, what it changed into. It could have changed back into a human and be walking around
Yeah.
with
True.
people. It could do that.
Yeah.
Um, there's a lady in 2018. Her name is Kim Velez, and someone approached her with this particular photograph, and she actually put it out there and said, "Can anybody help us with what this is?" And I have to admit, it is disturbing, and I do believe it's a skinwalker. And but she put it out there, and it ignited a lot of fear. Okay, getting ready to show you guys. But if you want to see it, it's on WRQE News in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Okay, let me get this thing added. And this thing is freaky. It is, holy crap. Here we go.
I've seen that before.
You think it's real?
Yeah,
Well, what happened to him? Why is he looking so
that's what it is.
strange?
I mean, that's what it is. I don't know if it's alien or what. I don't think it's a skinwalker. I think it's more or less of a cryptid type of thing.
But there's definitely a cryptid. I'm wondering if that's not a creeper because I've seen something similar to
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that
could be.
climbing up and down walls two times at Old South and once up at shoot, that big hot tuberculosis hospital in Kentucky. Shoot,
So this
Waverly.
person,
Sorry.
Waverly, yeah, yeah. This says the picture was lurking. This picture was taken by someone who was driving, and they saw this on the side of the road, and claimed it was taken near Liebrook and Counselor, New Mexico, which is near the Gilcari. Oh, geez, I can't say it. Gilcarian Reservation, and this is near. A geologist said was working in the oil field and said that they saw it and it had a heat signature. And the geologist that saw it was part indigenous and he quit. That was his last day of work.
Hmm.
He said that's the end of that. Um, the legend there, because basically a skinwalker um, is a Native American legend. Okay. And Tony Tillerman is the person who kind of brought it to life, the legend to life. He actually wrote about it. But the story is it spread like wildfire, a skinwalker, a skinwalker. And according to legend, a skinwalker is a person with a supernatural ability to turn into any animal and walk on all fours or on two legs, either one. And um, people are saying, they're moving from the area and whatnot. Uh, they said that they posted it on Wednesday and it had been shared to thousands of different sources by Thursday. And everyone is just not able to rest easy after seeing it. Some people said that, this picture can be debunked because apparently in the 80s there was a movie that came out, Extro, the letter X and then TRO. And they said that it was a movie where something on the prowl was on the side of the road and they took a picture of it. And but then what happened to the geologist that was at Liebrook in the counselor area? Because he did leave his job. So it's been taken down some places, put up other places. I just wanted to talk about what you guys may feel. A lot of
Yeah.
people are afraid, I know, of being targeted.
Has it been seen since that time? I mean, it could have been just walking by.
I I don't think so. I think it
You
got
know,
out of it.
it could have been just walking by in the area. I mean, if it doesn't have a reason to be there, they won't hang around. But if they claim an area or claim a spot or somebody's done something to it, they'll hang around. But if they just walking through, I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking something similar. Hey, what's
Mhm.
going on with this? Wait a minute, are they just going through the area?
Yeah.
Yeah, Willie, one of the questions I was thinking just popped me in the head. Were skinwalkers always around? Were they like prehistory, or they're just from more recent Native American times before it was no longer Native American land?
I think they've been around. It's not just a Native American thing. I think they've been around for thousands of years.
Okay, that's what I thought too, but that's one to verify. Thank you.
Especially if you run across a medicine man or woman that conjures one of these things up too. That's how come they show up. They've been known to be conjured up and sent against somebody.
That would surprise me.
Oh, it's true.
Oh, I believe it. Because see, my grandmother talked about stuff like that. She says, if I really want to get these people, I could conjure something up right now. And she
Yep.
meant it.
Yeah,
I don't.
you don't have to be a medium or anything like that. If you have intent, you can conjure.
Oh,
Everybody's got the ability to do that.
mm-hmm.
It's intent.
Yes. Okay, so I just downloaded something on a trail cam. And for those of you watching, if you are made afraid very easily, I suggest that at this moment you turn off and you can come back because this is a very startling image. It is blurred on the internet for a reason, and this was caught on a trail cam. All right, Christopher, I'm bringing you back on. I want you to be able to weigh in on this too. Okay.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Again, if you're frightened easily, please, click off and come back after a while.
Ooh. Okay, that thing does have a tail.
Yeah, he's no hair. But that, if you want to look it up, let me give you the source.
Yeah,
I
that's definitely a skinwalker.
That's what I thought too, Christopher.
Well, some I've
Um
heard of those things called rakes before, rakes, or wrath,
Wraith
wraith,
or
and I've heard
Yeah,
them
it's a,
called rakes and wraths.
I'm
But
trying to find this where I got it from. I'm sorry.
that's
look
another
down
creature you don't
his
want to run
his left.
into.
Yeah, look at his left leg where it looks like it's touching ground. It looks like there's another elbow right there, and part of that thing's going backwards.
Wait a minute. Let me see. Um, the word that's cut out, I just got it across there. It says Skinwalker sighting on trail cam, Craiyon, like crayon, something like that. So if you'd like to look it up, that's it. I don't know. I just saw it and it was blurred out,
Well,
and I had to.
it looks like they caught it right in the middle of a transformation.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
one thing to do. It's like it's shifting.
I know it makes me want to vomit. I don't know what to think of all that.
That's amazing.
And
They got the tail and
yeah, it's rolled out there, isn't it? Kind of looks like those hairless cats.
I know, huh?
I wonder if it feels like a peach, like the hairless cat does. I don't want to find out. Man, we've got some really crazy stuff going on here. Um, does anybody have any questions out there? Do you have any questions about shamanic topics, about aliens or cryptids? We have an open forum, CRAIYON, and then you have to say that you want to see the skinwalker on the trail cam. Oh my God, here's another one. I don't know.
No, Michael Robert actually says, "Hey guys, I found out the name of the creature on the other photo that you should." So it's called the rake. That's what I said. It's called a rake.
There you go. Thank you so much. See, this
Yeah,
is why we do this, so that we can all
yeah.
get together and
And
figure things out.
I've heard it both ways. It's been called a rake or a wraith, but both mean spirit. So
Yeah. Okay. Have you any of you heard about Project Aquarius? I have not, and I'm just wondering. It's being highlighted on MUFON's website, and oh, okay. The best time to be a UFO/UAP researcher is now. MUFON's long-awaited project Aquarius Library is now open. Oh man! So you can go in there, and all of these reports are open to you to read.
Lee, Michael wanted to know if you would send him a link where he can come join the show.
Oh, okay. Well, sure. Hold on just a second. All right, Michael. Give me a second. I'm going to Facebook to do this.
I think you could have sent him the link in private chat if you private chatted him through here.
Let me do that then. I couldn't get it to pop up just now. Michael Robert. Well, it won't let me do it. Can you do it?
Let me
Because
see.
only thing it's letting me do is delete or ban. Because I can put stuff up like that.
That's your best way you can get around that is privately message the person, then then click, then go to Facebook and click follow. You don't have to add them.
Uh-huh.
It, Facebook sometimes don't like people doing that because it gets around the Facebook protect.
Well, I have a Michael Robert, but it's a different person.
Buddy, I'm trying to get it to you.
Yes. So David's asked about this recently several times to me, and this is a perfect time to ask. We've only got 20 minutes left in the show. So David's got a question. Okay, his question is, what is up with the mall in Miami? Have you guys seen anything about that?
I don't know about that one. That's a little hinky.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, with today's video cameras, they couldn't get better video footage of what was there. I think it pretty much is these idiot kids are out there flying around drones, chasing people with them.
I haven't been able to get good enough footage. The best I was able to do was pull something up from TMZ, and I'm not trusting that.
No. Okay. You might as well get that from the star.
Uh-huh.
TMZ is a place of misinformation. I don't go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
See it. Christopher, do you see anything? Wait a minute. I think I just found one. Let's see if I got it.
It won't let me. Michael, I'm so sorry. I can't figure out how to get you, or I can send you the link for this. So please ask questions in the chat.
Michael Robert, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Chris, you got a little bit better. Get him, just send him the link on Messenger or something.
All
Thank
right.
you, Christopher.
Thank you.
I thought you were at work. Um, David says, I think it was fake, is what happened. And a lot of people are saying that. Uh, I, I got something I can show you, and we can all look at it together, and we can decide right there, hey, there we go. Is this fake or is this potentially real? It's still foggy, but it's the best I can do right now anyway.
All the
All
video
right.
out there is foggy, so
So you see right here, all the people that were stopped, and then there's something walking along there at the yellow circle.
yeah.
There is something walking. I don't know. I just don't know.
Well, they said something too that somehow those kids were projecting like holograms as well.
Ah,
So
well, that makes sense.
yeah, I think most of it was a publicity stunt and a bunch of just idiot teenagers out there doing stupid stuff.
Well, what they did was they created a very bad situation. I mean, if
Of course
somebody
it
had
is.
gotten punchy, somebody could have gotten really hurt or killed.
Well, they said that people started pulling out their guns. So yeah, that's probably why you had 800 cop cars show up, because somebody probably fired off a couple of rounds and they sent the whole police force.
Dang. Well, let's see. If anybody has any other questions, we need to address them now. We don't have much time left. Thank you. A lot of people are saying, they're supposed to say that that was a large. That's right. The report was that that was a large, tall alien figure.
Yeah, and there were supposed to have been three of them, but I only keep seeing this one picture.
Thank you, David. I'm glad you liked the show tonight.
But thanks, David.
Yeah. So, I just thought I would throw out there. I'm trying to find the most up to date UFO sighting. Research UFO ET research tracking. All
Yeah, I
right.
can't find his profile.
You can't. Okay. Okay, so here's the last 20. Oh, Lord. I have an account, but I'm having trouble logging in, of course.
Michael, if you can hear me, send Christopher a friend request where he can send you the link on Facebook.
So, Billy Albert Mayer, he's a citizen of Switzerland who is the source of many controversial UFO photographs. He presents these photographs as evidence to support claims that he is in contact with extraterrestrials. And he's also given metal samples, sound recordings, and film footage. And he was in India in 1964. He's actually taken a polygraph, and he passed. I mean, there's just so much about this gentleman, and I got all these references. I'm trying to get this picture to download or get a screenshot of it. But there's people like him that have gotten the runaround. He's written a book called, oh my Lord, it's a very controversial book, Talmud Gemanuel. So obviously it's in a different language. And he claims the original teachings and life events of a man named, oh, Emmanuel, which is Jesus Christ by historians and Christians, is where the majority of this information comes from.
Mm.
Goodness gracious. The more you uncover, the more complicated it gets. I would read you some more of it, but now it's in a different language.
He is supposed to be in contact with the Palladians. Pleiadians.
Palladians, that's the
Yes,
one.
yes,
Yeah.
that's right.
I'm
Okay.
aware of him.
Okay. Well, have you got anything else that you would like to throw out there to us besides, it doesn't have to be about aliens, but we do love for you to talk about it because you've been so, you know, you've had such a strong voice about it and you help so many people.
Well, nowadays, the alien situation and whatever, I just tell people not to worry about it. Uh, you know, if they're very more advanced than us. I mean, there you've got good ones and bad ones. And there's more species on Earth than you can realize. And I think they've got something going between themselves. To you got the good ones and the bad ones, and I think the good ones have been taking care of us for a long, long time.
I do too.
I do
Yep.
too. Well, how can
I think
people reach out to you, Willie? Sorry, I didn't know you were going to say something, Blaine.
They can contact me by Facebook, Willie Gibson. They could just look me up. I've got Google me, and there's 20 pages on me.
Okay,
It's
and you've also
Willie
got books
Windwalker
out.
Gibson. Yeah.
What were you saying, Blaine? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
I forgot. It doesn't matter.
Oh, crap. I hate that. Let's see. I heard something. I have a feeling that the rake is an actual fallen angel. They may have a same resemblance. Also, Gwen is asking, she hears buzzing a lot. Could that be an alien instead of spirits?
It's
Could be
both.
both.
They're energies.
Yep, they are interdimensional. So, yeah, it could be both. That's a lot closer. Like UFOs could also be orbs. Why does it have to be, you know, a spirit? It's an interdimensional being. So somebody brought that up to me, and I thought, wow, that's way out there. And then the more I looked into it, the more I realized, oh, yeah, that's absolutely possible. Could you tell us a little bit about your books, Willie? We've got just a little bit of information left to get out there.
Yeah, the Shaman Windwalker can be found on Amazon, and Soul Warriors can be found on Amazon too. I've read them a long time ago, so if it takes time for you to get a copy, just hang in there. They'll find some. I've gotten a lot of interest for the Shaman Windwalker to be a movie one day, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Very cool. I do want to throw out there tonight, real quick, that I will be starting my next round of classes April the 16th, and it's going to be every Tuesday and Thursday from 6:30 to 8:30. And with those, these are the events. We'll be doing Spirits of the Carriage House in Aiken, South Carolina, and we'll be staying at the Carriage House or Annie's Inn, and we'll be doing a ghost tour with Dr. Uh, oh my God, and that mine went blank. Kent Cubbage, excuse me. Dr. Cubbage has a ghost tour that's a walking tour, an hour and a half long, and we'll be going around the St. Thaddeus Cemetery, and we'll be investigating the Carriage House, and then we'll scoot over to the cemetery in Graniteville. And there's a little boy there who passed away in the 1800s. He froze to death on a train, and everybody of the town got together and gave him a decent burial. And nobody ever reported him missing and so nobody knows who he is. But in that same cemetery, there is a an angel that has his little hands like that. And if you put something, the legend is if you put something in the angel's hands and go back, it'll be gone. Well, who's there to get it? I mean, So I'm going to use one of those tags that you can put on your um, suitcases to track them, or you could put it on your pocketbook or your, wallet or whatever, and see if we can figure out where it goes. Should be a pretty fun investigation. The next one is called the Cabin in the Woods, Haunted Cabin in the Woods. That will be in 6 Mile, South Carolina. That's May 25th. And it's going to be fantastic. This is near Kiowee, Lake Kiowee, and there's a big burial mound there in Lake Kiowee. 6 Mile is where 20 some odd um, indigenous elders got together, and they went for dinner. They were invited, and then afterwards they were murdered, and they're buried on an island in the middle of Lake Kiowee. And so we're going to take our boat and go over to the island and offer them smoke, some tobacco, and see if we can talk to them and find out what they have to say about their past experiences. And this is the last one, Spirits of Dryden, Tennessee. That'll be June the 8th. Dryden, what did I say? Not Tennessee, Dryden, Virginia. We'll be staying at that house, which is
Oh,
a haunted farmhouse. And there's a cottage on the property as well. So we've got some wiggle room if we have more people, and we need to stretch out. And we're going to be leaving from there, going to Gap Cave, and then to a haunted theater, a very historic haunted
ooh.
theater. And then we'll be investigating that place a lot. It's on a lot of property. So, Cabin in the Woods, 6 Mile, May 25th. Spirits of Dryden, Virginia, and that one's June 8th. And Spirits of Carriage House Inn, May the 11th. All of these you can find on Facebook. So, Willie, maybe we can get you to come out to them sometime.
Never know.
Yeah, it would be fun. Be a lot of fun. So, Blaine, how can people reach out to you?
Okay, my Facebook page. I'm the only Blaine Rohan in the whole world that I know of that has Facebook. I don't have none of the Twitter or Twitch or none of that other crap. Just never went on them anyway. And I have a YouTube page called The Haunted Syndicate.
Yes, very cool. All right. And Christopher, he goes to a lot of different ghost, paranormal podcasts. He's got a following of his own. So, Christopher, thank you for always uh,
Thank
man-
you.
manning the chat and coming in with great conversation. You and Blaine and Willie, you guys are wonderful, wonderful people. And I appreciate you so much. It really keeps me going to know that I've got friends that I can relate to. Okay. So somebody's telling me about actually having her daughter can hear what she thinks is a dog whistle, but no one's in the house. And so I'm wondering what that might be. I'll try to reach out to this person a little later.
Just means they can pick up different frequencies of energy.
Yeah, absolutely. She might not be hearing with her ears.
Yeah,
She might be picking up something from um, on a supernatural level. And her daughter is psychic, so I wouldn't be a bit surprised. Okay, so April 16th we'll have our next class. We're having a makeup class tomorrow night. We're going to be doing guided meditation, Willie. We're doing spirit guide. Um, sort of doing guided meditation to find the help our students find their spirit guide. So it's a really big deal that they will be able to, do this, and that they're willing to do it. They're very um, gutsy people. That they're up for the challenge, and I'm very excited. We've got just a little bit of time, Willie. How about Blaine? If I can get my cards, I was going to pull a one card reading for the day.
okay.
Oh, for Pete's sake. All right, we're going to do the sacred oracle cards. This is something new. There we go. I was going to see if my other ones were behind me, but that's okay. Time to use the new ones. So these are really beautiful. I think they are extremely um, beautiful. Here we go. Isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah, right after you did the disappearing act, it was pretty cool.
This one is called the East Yellow, and it is, let's see, lover to lover, parents to child, we unite and live on through the ages, generations upon generations. What will your story be? Remember that you are part of an expansive human family, past, present, and future, and all are traveling together on this boat called Earth. And through our journeys, um, though they may be we may experience difficulties, and our destination or home is shared. Each journey is intertwined. You're at the beginning of a new cycle within your own story, guys. That's all of us. That's everybody. Ah, there it is. Your parents have their own separate stories, and all three stories are agreed upon, predestined, but still separate. You have responsibilities and expected path, but expectations can be broken, and your inner child has a chance to reframe inherited pain, negative genetics, whether away in the joy of knowing with higher awareness or in new positive cycles. So what this means is there's a legacy here. There's a legacy, and we're at the beginning of a new cycle. Let's see what happens with it. She's very young, and she's smiling, and you can see warriors behind her
Mm-hmm.
here, here, and you can see her as a child over here in a little sleigh type thing, and she's smiling. So just because you have a new beginning like this doesn't mean that your past doesn't, you know, affect what you're doing. So we're in the middle of our cycles, and we've got something great brewing. All right. So, okay, here's Brandon. Thank you for coming, Brandon. This is the fire blessing. May the fire be in our thoughts, making them true, good, and just. May it protect us from the evil one. May the fire be in our eyes. May it open our eyes to share what is good in life. May we ask that fire protect us from what is not rightfully ours. May the fire be on our lips so that we may speak the truth in kindness, that we may serve, encourage, and encourage others. May it protect us from speaking evil. May the fire be in our ears that we pray we hear with a deep, deep listening so that we may hear the flow of water and of all creation and the dreaming. We be protected from gossip and from things that harm and break down our family. May the fire be in our arms and hands so that we may be of service and build up love. And may the fire protect us from all violence. And may the fire be in our whole being, in our legs and our feet, enable us to walk the earth with reverence and care so that we may walk in the ways of goodness and truth and be protected from walking away from what is truth. This is an ancient prayer, 40,000 years old, handed down from the Aboriginal culture and translated to English. And the late Australian Aboriginal elder gave this prayer to Helen Summers on January 26, 1995, Australia Day in New York. So this is a very historic blessing. I hope that sticks with your heart, enters your mind, and carries you through your days. Thank you for watching Family Spirit International.
Bye, y'all.
Good night.
wants to